Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fourth Leadership Summit at IIM Raipur, themed around New Age, New Realities. I'm Shambhavi Dubey from Media and PR Committee, and today we are fortunate enough to have an esteemed guest with us, Mr. Dhritiman Chakrabarti, Director Operations Ingram Micro. Mr. Chakrabarti is an expert in supply chain and a keynote speaker as well as a certified trainer. He is a life and executive coach. He's a member of Leader Excellence at Harvard Square and Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. He holds an experience of 18 plus years in various areas of supply chain operation across numerous industries. A very good afternoon to you, sir. And it was an honor to lend our ears to you for such an insightful session with you. So first of all, I'll start with how was your experience with the students of IIM Raipur discussion and the discussion on the topic that execution
Yeah,
of
the
economy.
experience has been very good. And first of all, I'd like to thank IIM Raipur for conducting this particular event. It is very much relevant to the time.
Yes, sir.
So it's a very, very well designed, well thoughtful, the topic that has been selected for this program.
Mhm.
And obviously, thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity, inviting me to this program and sharing my thoughts with all the future leaders. I mean, that's how I look at it. You people are going to lead big organizations going forward, and it is very important to connect to the industry. What is exactly apart from going through the theoretical part of it, and the topic that IIM Raipur has chosen was actually to the point given the current context.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think I'm really very sure that students might have learned something really nice today. Okay, so moving on to my next question. So you have been part of numerous industries like FMCG and pharma with different diverse roles. So how would you say that diversification can help current managers to excel, especially the ones who aspire to be future CEOs, based on your
Yeah,
experience?
of course. I mean, diversification, if you're talking about in terms of gaining experience in multiple industries, obviously that helps because I have seen people continuing in the same organization for 20, 25 years and then growing up the ladder.
Yes.
Now, when that is those kind of examples are there, at the same time, you have examples wherein people worked in different kind of industries completely. So when you work in different industries, what happens is that you get that flavor of different kind of challenges, different kind of customer requirements. As you know that different industries will be serving all the completely different set of customers. As a result, the way the plannings are made, the way the marketing and the sales mix and the supply chain mix, everything is planned, will be a little bit different from, for example, if I may give you, the chemical industry that I was a part of.
Yes, sir.
In the chemical industry, we were serving scientists.
Mhm.
So the expectation from a scientist as compared to a FMCG company wherein you and I are the consumers
Right.
are different.
Sure, sir.
So the way you attract a scientist to buy a chemical product
Mhm.
and the way you attract a consumer who will be buying your, say, some FMCG items, some food products, etc., will be completely different. So
Exactly.
once you have been a part of both the experiences, you as an individual or as a leader, you gather some additional experiences which will obviously help you when you go up the ladder. But at the same time, what is also important is if you are stick to a particular organization, might happen that if you have got the talent, you
Right.
will grow up the ladder over the years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, you might become the CEO of the organization. Now, that is okay. I mean, there are many great leaders who are actually leading organizations who are into the organization for 20, 25 years. But again, that might not be a given recipe for everybody.
Exactly. Right.
Not that everybody are exceptional, right?
Yes, sir.
So in general, people might find it a little challenging whenever a difficult business situation comes before them. For example, a COVID kind of situation or completely a different kind of economic situation.
Yes, sir.
If you have been in multiple industries,
Mhm.
seen different turbulences in your experiences, in that case, you are equipped enough
Mhm.
to manage a kind of difficult or challenging situation. in your leadership.
Yes, sir.
That's what it
I
is.
definitely agree to what you mentioned about that one size doesn't fit all, but obviously diversification indeed helps. Okay, sir. So moving on to my next question. So you did your you completed your MBA and then you completed your finance and then you did your MBA and all. So basically you switched your careers. So sir, being a first year student, there are, and especially who are there pursuing their MBA, it's a dilemma for them to decide on what stream they should go ahead with. Like you started with finance and now you're doing with supply chain. So based on your experience, how should a student approach these things? On what basis they should decide that what, or what made you realize that okay, this is the thing for me?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Now, being a life coach, when I coach people, and basically I coach youngsters, and I have been seeing this kind of issue all throughout, in the sense that when you select the first hand career option in your life,
Right.
the question is who decides that? What kind of thought process or working happens before deciding that I'll be doing a specialization in marketing, sales, or finance, or whatever, whether I'll be doing MBA or not? Should I be going into, I'd like to become a chartered accountant. So all those decisions that you make is based on what ground? Is it your father or mother wants you to be an MBA?
Exactly.
Is it that in your friend circle, everybody is an MBA?
Right, right.
Or is
Mhm.
it that your ultimate goal is to make an impact into lives of millions of people by being in a leadership position, create employment opportunities for people? So when you ask those questions, possibly it'll take some time, but then it might give you a visibility that what exactly you want in life. So um, the way one should look at it, the way I define it is, there are two types of goals that you should look at it in your life. Number one, we call it a task goal or a means goal.
Yes, sir.
And the other one is a life goal.
Right.
So means goal is, say, for example, I want to achieve 95 percentile in my MBA exam. So
Right.
that's a means goal. You are studying hard and then you want to achieve 95 percentile. And you
Mhm.
achieve that, you are, very, very joyful. You are out of the world kind of experience.
Right.
But then, is it your life goal? It's not your life goal, right? Your life goal is different.
And so
So
I
one
think
should
most
take
of
time,
the
and this is
time.
very
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
important in current.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I was
yeah. What
saying
I'm saying is
most.
that
Hmm.
with most of us in the current situation, it is important that one should think about the long term, what exactly you want in life,
Yes.
and then bring it down to your current level. So that's why I'm doing MBA. That's why I'm doing a specialization in this. Honestly speaking, I did my MBA around 19 years back,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes.
those days we didn't give it a time, give it much thought. Finance was sort of a good industry, lucrative industry. So I thought that okay, finance will be good. My background was in statistics, and
Hmm.
finance had a lot of mathematics. So I
Right.
thought that okay, I'll be best suited to
Yes, sir.
finance. But then later on, when I went into the job market, honestly speaking, I didn't like it. So that's when I just moved to another something else.
Yes, sir. I agree that most of the time people usually get confused between their life goal and career goal, and that is what you mentioned. I think. Okay, sir. So I'll talk, moving on to the next question. I just went through one of your recent articles which you wrote about how the supply chain is gearing up to face the new expectations, which is coming up from the consumer because of the change in the economy which has happened because of the COVID. Like if we take example of Zomato or online food delivery platforms who basically shifted to delivering these essential items. So, sir, but the response wasn't that good. So, sir, do you feel that when a industry tries to shift from one platform or they have an existing brand image, when they try to shift from it, the customer usually retaliates, or what are your views regarding this?
I don't think it was a complete failure as far as Swiggy and Zomato is concerned. What actually happened is government opened up the e-commerce.
Mhm.
So the e-commerce was actually under lockdown for some time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And during that particular time, people actually completely exploited the opportunity that was given by Swiggy and Zomato kind of companies. But yes, somewhere at the back of their mind, they're also missing out on, say, Big Basket,
Yeah.
Amazon, Flipkart, all those things.
Yes, sir.
Now, government opened up. As soon as government opened up, then obviously the first choice, because people have been habituated in buying from Big Basket and likes of Amazon First, etc.,
Exactly.
Amazon Fresh, and they already had a platform which was accepted by customers as an easy platform.
Right.
Now, honestly speaking, we didn't give enough time to Swiggy and Zomato to create a platform.
Exactly.
And then immediately we switched over. And so during that 1 month or 2 months, I think more from whether it was successful or not, look at it from a service point of view. They try to give a service to their consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere that will get imprinted in a consumer's mind. For example, if I give my family's example as a consumer, I used that service of Zomato and Swiggy during that time to get some essential items, some grocery and the vegetables items, at home.
Yes, sir.
Okay, after 1 or 2 months, I switched to Amazon Fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere the association with Swiggy improved,
Right, right. I agree.
and I felt I started ordering more through Swiggy,
Okay.
the restaurant foods.
Basically, the
So
trust
Swiggy,
they built it
yes,
on your trust, right? Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So it might be very difficult to notice. It might be a very subtle kind of change that has happened in consumers' mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a sense of, I want to say thank you to them,
Right.
because that time they served. Otherwise, it was very difficult to take care of my family. I was not ready to go out. I was afraid of. My family was not allowing me to go out. Nobody else was coming in. I was only dependent on these guys during that time. They served me.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm going to be more loyal to Swiggy as far as ordering food is concerned.
Right.
So I think that's the, sort of gain that was there for Swiggy and Zomato. It was not a complete loss as such.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Okay, sir. My last question is to you. How would you advise to the people who want to go in supply chain management and adjust to the new normal? Basically, how should they prepare themselves?
Yes, supply chain is the happening buzzword as of now, because uh, all the organizations are now accepting the fact that supply chain is a strategic role. I mean, 15, 20 years back, supply chain was only considered as a support function kind of, internal services department kind of. But now most of the organization understand the importance of supply chain as a very, very strategic function. And supply chain has entered into boardroom. 10,
Right.
15 years back, supply chain was not a part of boardroom. So it's a very good opportunity for people who are interested in the area of supply chain. And when you work in the area of supply chain, you actually deal with multiple functions together. You
Mm-hmm.
have to use your sales and marketing skills if you are in a, say, managing a 3PL organization in the supply chain. And you also need to know to a great extent people management skills. So
Exactly.
people who are very good in people management, they'll be, doing great in supply chain. And that's where I think one of advice that I would like to give all the students is, try to be a good people leader, and try to embrace empathy,
Right.
not from a perspective of a boss, but from perspective of being a friend to a person.
Definitely, sir.
So previously in the supply chain function, we had people who are not that much well educated. I mean, they were simple graduates or below graduates. People are working in a supply chain function, and they have grown up the ladder by working for 15 years, 20 years into the same function. And with this industry, what happens when a person comes with an MBA degree, normally there's a reluctance of accepting this new person in the group, in the family.
Agreed.
So that's where your people leadership skills, getting along with people, comes into play. Otherwise, you might be a very good strategist,
Mm-hmm.
but unless and until your methods, your suggestions are accepted down the line, I mean, you will be finding it very difficult to bring an organizational change as such. So be a good people leader, and obviously the analytical part of it, people here who are going through the course of it, obviously that analytical skill is an inbuilt skill. That's what is expected from all of you.
Right.
So with that, I mean, people will be doing very great in the supply chain industry. It's a very, very booming industry now.
So I totally agree to that. Okay, sir, thank you so much for this session and giving us this opportunity. And as soon as the situation gets better, we look forward to hosting you on our campus. So please be there.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Nice
Thank you
talking
so
to you.
much. Same to you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.